right, so you're making the game Nevermind. And what is the premise of this game?
So Nevermind is a psychological thriller that uses biofeedback technology to impact the game experience while the player is playing. If you play with one of our optional heart rate sensors, the game will be able to detect feelings of stress, anxiety, fear, and it'll get more intense the more scared you get. So you have to brave the dark, surreal environments that we've set up and learn how to keep your cool while you're playing through the game.
Like, do you fight enemies? Do you hide from them?
It's very much more exploration based. So you're actually it's a mystery game in many ways. You're sort of basically uncovering the repressed memories of a psychological trauma that occurred. You're in the subconscious mind of a PTSD patient, and you need to resurrect what that memory was so you can help them work through it and resolve it.
It looks very much like Psychonauts.
Yeah, it's kind of like a dark, twisted Psychonauts in many ways, and it's actually a lot of it's based off of Myst. You know, I grew up playing Myst, was very inspired by it. I love Myst too. So, and it's kind of interesting. We used to call it a horror game, but it's really more of a thriller because you don't have like zombies coming after you. It's much more psychological. We like to say it's more David Lynch and Tarsem Singh than Eli Roth in many ways.
Okay. So you're looking for clues. You're trying to solve a mystery.
Yes.
And what is the mystery exactly?
The mystery is what the traumatic event is. So you're in the subconscious mind of these psychological trauma patients, and they've repressed this memory because it was so horrible their conscious mind just couldn't deal with it. So it's been lurking deep inside the subconscious realm of their mind, and they haven't been able to work through it, which is a real problem. So you have to go in and uncover what this forgotten trauma was.
So did you consult like psychologists to kind of understand the psychology of these sort of patients?
Exactly. So it actually started as my thesis in graduate school at the University of Southern California, and what was so great about that is I had so many wonderful experts just around me every day to speak with. So we spoke to a lot of experts in a variety of fields, including psychologists, and continue to, even post-graduation, to make sure that both the narrative is really as accurate and respectful and responsible as possible, and as well as sort of what we're trying to do with the biofeedback angle as well.
And how does that work? Like do I have to have one at home? Do I already have to have a biofeedback sensor? Or is that something we buy when we buy Nevermind?
Yeah, so you can play it without a biofeedback sensor, but we do support several off-the-shelf sensors you can just get off of Amazon, easily online. And if you play it with that, then the game will have this whole dynamic response system as part of it.
So this is sort of the evolution of, say, like the sanity meter in Eternal Darkness.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a huge Eternal Darkness fan. It's one of my favorite games of all time. So it's a little bit like that, and because the game gets more twisted, the more stressed you get. But instead of the character sanity, it's your own sort of fear that you're dealing with. Thank you.
Like, is this a game with a lot of writing, or is this a game that's more sensation-based, more sensory?
No, it's a little bit of both. Especially because we're trying to evoke physiological reactions for the biofeedback component. But it is very narrative-based. Each level is a different trauma story. So there's a ton of writing that goes into it, and a ton of narrative, and that's only supported by the sensory aspects as well. So it's really kind of, there's a lot of everything in it, really. Yeah.
Is there anything like mechanically that you can do that sort of sets you apart from, say, Dear Escher or any of these sort of other games that have a similar kind of presentation?
Well, I would say that the main differentiating factor is the biofeedback. The staying calm while you're being stressed out, and really actually, so that speaks to one of the goals of it is not only do we want to make this really creepy, intense atmospheric game, we want to create an experience where people are testing their stress limits, their boundaries, and learning how to stay calm on the fly so that they're developing skills that not only are helpful in the game, but also in the real world as well. So we want the player to leave a Nevermind playing experience with a little bit more confidence in their ability to manage stress and anxiety in everyday situations. So one of the things that we want to do with Nevermind moving forward is to continue to work with behavioral health experts and psychologists and psychiatrists to develop a version that is meant to be more therapeutic in nature.
Is this going to be released as just a public for sale game, like on Steam?
Yeah, so this version that we're showing at IndieCade is actually already on Steam for Windows and Mac, so you can download it, and we have on our website the list of supported sensors. It's always expanding and growing as we support more sensors, and we're actually currently working on bringing it to Xbox One and Oculus Rift as well, which will be coming out in early 2016.
How many areas are there? Is it how long would you say it takes this game?
We currently have 3 levels in it, so it takes, depending on how long you spend exploring or solving puzzles, it takes most people about 3 to 4 hours to play it. We're hoping to add more levels. It lends itself so well to like episodic content release because each level is a different trauma story. So we're hoping that we'll be able to continue to create levels.
If you have to explain this game in one sentence to perspective, like people are interested, what would you say?
Oh gosh, it's a atmospheric, surreal experience that can maybe help you live a more stress-free life in the real world.
There you go.